Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your good brother Jay News back yet again with another edition of Jay News Japan. Here to talk to you tonight about New Japan Showdown that aired on November 20th, 2020 on NewJapanWorld.com along with Fight TV, New Japan and the USA action. First match of the night was a tag night. It was the DKC and the Young Lion Clark Connors versus the Regal Twins Logan and Sterling in a match that lasted 9 minutes and 6 seconds. It seems that they're trying to create this tag team rivalry between the Regal I almost said the Logan Twins like Kozlov, the Regal Twins, Clark Connors and the DKC. It seems that they're going for some sort of a series of matches between these two teams to see who the better tag team is and to see, I guess, who reigns supreme as the junior heavyweight tag team on the New Japan in USA roster. Good back and forth between all four competitors here. I would have to say it was more of a match that was carried by the Regal Twins. Clark Connors still showing off his dynamic and explosive approach to his in-ring competition. Very precise, very tenacious, very ferocious, reminiscent of a pro wrestler who is now in the beyond. The DKC, not too much to say here about the DKC out of the realm of what I've said before. Good loud presence, really good technical wrestling on the mat, good submission style things that he does have going on. So that was a plus to see. The Regal Twins were more or less within their element. Good hybrid style of high impact and I would want to say high flying maneuverability. So it was a decent showing for both teams. The winners of the match, Clark Connors and the DKC over the Regal Twins in this one, with Clark Connors putting the Boston Crab on Logan Regal. And at the same time, the DKC did have I would say a yes lock put on Sterling at the same time in the ring. So both guys were tapping at the same time to end the match. Second match of the night, a match that I didn't know what to expect out of it because I'm a fan of Russ Taylor and his in-ring style. His persona is growing on me. Rocky Romero, like we know, has been around for a couple of eons now in professional wrestling. So what Rocky gives us is always a welcomed plus to any show. 10 minutes exact on this match between Russ Taylor and Rocky Romero. Good back and forth, I would say. Russ Taylor did, obviously, in most matches, Russ Taylor was the larger and taller opponent. In this case, Rocky Romero was able to match Russ Taylor, I would say about 75 to 80% of the time, with his submission and mat wrestling based techniques. But Russ Taylor is akin to Zack Sabre Jr. in that length of body wise, and at the same time, he has a more muscular figure than Zack Sabre Jr. But at the same time, he's also robust in that knowledge of submission and catch-can wrestling, which showed here. But Russ Taylor's nastier side did come out during this match, and he was able to get the upper hand and eventually tie up Rocky Romero in what he calls the GA. It's spelled GAIA. I would say Gaia lock on Rocky Romero, which is a submission, which is I would say a combination of a leg wrap. A leg wrap with a Cobra clutch style wrist tie-in, along with some more leg wrap within the arms and the other limbs to keep Romero restrained. And Romero only had barely one limb available to tap in that Gaia lock. It's a cool move to see as a finisher. And hopefully we see more of it in the future from Russ Taylor, who is currently a member of Team Filthy. Match number 3, Jeff Cobb versus JR Kratos. In this one, This match lasted about 7 minutes and 38 seconds. JR Kratos, the bigger man in this match, about 6'2", 6'3", 300 some odd pounds. Jeff Cobb is listed at about 5'10", 260. Good physical match between the two. Very. I don't want to say slow. Very deliberate pace between the two because of their power game, as I like to say. So it was a good, not necessarily a contrast in styles because they do have similar styles, but JR Kratos moves way better than I thought, to be quite honest. And Jeff Cobb was doing Jeff Cobb stuff. To end this one off, Jeff Cobb was able to hit the Tour of the Island on JR Kratos to get the win on this one, which was surprising to me. And after this match was over, and Jeff Cobb got the win, Russ Taylor came down to the ring and attacked Jeff Cobb after Russ Taylor came down to the ring. It took about, I would say, 30 seconds to a minute for Fred Rosser to come down to the ring and help out Jeff Cobb to fend off JR Kratos and Russ Taylor. But then Filthy Tom Lawler came down to the ring as well to tie up and choke out Jeff Cobb. But little did we know that Rocky Romero and his sneaky style will come down to defend and help out Jeff Cobb and Fred Rosser as well. But being that Jeff Cobb and Fred Rosser were done for, they were taken out for a quick bit there. He was then surrounded by Russ Taylor, JR Kratos, and Tom Lawler. Rocky Romero in the ring by himself, and then came down the young man, Danny Limelight. It seemed like Danny Limelight was going to make the save and help out Rocky Romero, but little did we know another heel turn happened here as Danny Limelight just straight up shocks and blasts Rocky Romero, and it seems that Danny Limelight is a new and fourth member of Team Filthy as he turns on Rocky Romero, but not for long, because down comes the 20-plus year veteran, the one and only PJ Black, to save the day with a chair in hand, and he cleans house and he clears out the ring and makes the save and makes sure that nobody gets exponentially hurt or hurt further otherwise. So that was the melee after the Jeff Cobb JR Kratos match. So it seems that we will get some sort of a future 8-man tag between all those competitors. Jeff Cobb, Rocky Romero, PJ Black, and Fred Rosser on one side, then Team Filthy, which now aligns themselves with Danny Limelight, JR Kratos, Rusty Taylor, and Filthy Tom Lawler. Last match of the night, 14 minutes and 11 seconds. This was the match for the IWGP US Heavyweight Right to Challenge contract. It was between the one half of Finjuice, David Finlay, and the rights contract holder himself, KENTA of the Bullet Club. Very, very solid match here. Good back and forth. David Finlay and KENTA going at it. But ultimately, to wrap up the night here, KENTA using the devious and dubious Bullet Club heelish tactic ways, low blows, tried to use a chair, then ultimately used the actual briefcase where the contract is actually held to do damage to David Finlay towards the end of the match, so that KENTA after the ref bump, the use of the briefcase and the low blow, and then hitting the go to sleep, eventually gets the win here, as KENTA retains the U.S. Heavyweight Right to Challenge right certificate, and is able to carry that into 2021 at Wrestle Kingdom, probably finally having that match against Jon Moxley. Good show that went down today. Very well put together matches in my estimation as well. So that's the wrap on that. For next week, it seems that they're changing the name of the tour, so it'll be the Road to Detonation. Detonation will be the new name of the new tour on New Japan Strong, so it'll be one of those Road one of those Road 2 shows, so we'll probably get a whole bunch of tag matches next week this time around. So folks, thank you for always watching and sticking around and listening to me and my bits of New Japan recap and information. This has been your good brother Jay News. As always, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. Be good to one another. Take care of yourselves and stay safe out there, folks. Remain wrestling fans. This has been your brother Jay News. Check me out during the week. Nights 4 for World Tag League and Best of Super Juniors coming up in the middle of the week. For now, I'm about this. Peace.